Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Beautiful beings, I'm Yogi Shivananda, and this year marks the 10-year anniversary of my 6-month long journey across Norway. During this expedition, this adventure, I learned 3 super valuable lessons that changed my life forever. I'm going to share those lessons with you in this video. Okay, so the first lesson that I'm going to share with you, actually I didn't get this until later when I got back home. But this lesson is the most important one. This changed my life forever. So what I learned is when I got back home, stepping into my old life, into my routines, my work, hanging out with friends, all these things, I got really depressed. And I didn't understand why I got depressed. But it turned out that I figured out I was so much more happy when I didn't have any of those things that I previously thought were the essence of a happy, fulfilling life. Family, friends, car, beautiful clothes, all these things that we so easily get caught up in. I realized I was so much more happier when I didn't have any of that. So I got depressed. I didn't understand why am I supposed to live when in this life, in society, I'm unable to find this happiness now. But in this depression, I realized that actually it's not about being in the forest or being in the society. It's just that when I was in nature, it's very easy to align yourself, to be true to yourself. But in society, a lot of people, a lot of impressions, it's so easy to get mixed up. But it's not about how things are outside of us, it's how we arrange ourselves within. And this is actually what led me into the spiritual path, the yogic path. I want to learn to be as happy and blissful as I was in nature, in society, anywhere. So this is the most important lesson that I learned. Happiness is an inside job. Peace is an inside job. We have to take radical responsibility of our inner well-being and not blame anything else. So how we're doing is up to us, fully, 100%. That was the most important lesson that I learned. The second lesson that I learned very, very early on this journey. Me and a buddy, we were up north in Norway. We started up north in February, so it was ice cold. And this lesson came on one of the roughest days, where it was the first day I actually realized how fragile this life is. This day we'd been walking for hours without really getting anywhere. The snow was deep, it was cold, it was such intense wind. Our water had been frozen, so we couldn't drink. A lot of the equipment we had started to break, and at a certain time we were walking uphill, and it was just ice because all the snow had blown away, so it was just like ice covered hill. And we had the backpacks on. Backpack was probably half my weight, and then we had like a sledge. The sledge was almost double my weight. So I was pulling this up this hill, and I fell over and over and over and over. It was so slippery. And every time I fell with this backpack on top of me, right? So it was really heavy just to get back up. So I was pushing my limits. At a certain point, I was just standing there, trying to catch my breath, and on the verge of giving up. So exhausted. And then as I stood there, this memory came to me. It was the last time I saw my mom before leaving. And she came and she hugged me and she whispered in my ear, "I'm proud of you." And then she let go, turned her back, and then walked away. this was such a profound moment for me. We don't usually say these things in my family, and I could just feel the emotion of the moment. It was such a strong and powerful moment. By remembering this moment, suddenly I was filled with an energy so strong. I ran up the rest of the hill. And this wasn't even the beginning of the day. We had so much in front of us that day. What I thought was my limit, that was me scratching the surface. We are capable of so much more than we think. But because we get so stuck in our head, in our thoughts, always trying to find excuses to give up when things are tough, when we get out of the comfort zone, we want to get back in the comfort zone. This inner battle takes so much energy. We have so much to give, and we're only scratching the surface. I learned that day. We need to consciously push the boundaries of our limits. Push the boundaries of our comfort zone. This is how we expand. This is how we grow. It is not a pleasant experience, but it is a necessary one if you want to live a fulfilling, joyful, happy, meaningful life. That was my second lesson. The third lesson that I'm going to share with you, I learned that by living 6 months in a tent with a friend, very limited space. We're living very primitively, like it was freezing cold, below 30 degrees Celsius, and sometimes blizzards. It's such such a uncomfortable way of living. A lot of the time during the day we were sweating, our clothes, our shoes got wet. During the night they froze. So we would start our day with trying to heat up our shoes just so we can slip our feet down. By living this way, living so far out of my comfort zone, my physical comfort zone, when I came back home, I realized that as I had been pushing my comfort zone to that degree, a new world opened up for me. Suddenly I could do things that I would have so much resistance to earlier, but now it's just like an open space. I got wet, I didn't care. I got cold, I didn't care. It's fine. I got exhausted, I don't care. It's okay. By pushing those boundaries, you learn what you're capable of. You face your fears. And by doing that, you open up a new world. So I've been doing this not just by pushing the physical comfort zone, but we also have an emotional comfort zone. We have a mental comfort zone. By keep expanding these comfort zones, we are saying yes to life. Yes to all of life. Not just bits and pieces of life. We're saying yes to all of it. And that is a great blessing. That is a fulfilling way of living. And that was the third and final lesson that I'm going to share with you today. I hope you found these lessons valuable. I'm sure I'm going to share more of this journey later on. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. So I'm wondering, have you ever been on such adventure? Have you ever gone on a journey for yourself, something that transformed you? I'd love to hear what you did and how that journey affected you. What did you learn? Share your wisdom with the community. We should not be greedy with this knowledge that we get, this wisdom. We must share it. So please share in the comments your story, what you learned, how that could help others. Anyway, I'm Yogi Shivananda. Thank you for tuning in. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.